morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and I got another flight of the Me UAV. Today we are in the Spangler Hills off-highway vehicle area. It's just a dry lake bed that people come out here and they bring their RVs in the wintertime to ride motorbikes and quads. But I wanted to fly here because there is a data reception out here. There's an antenna over there for cell phone towers. So with that in mind, I do have data connection today, and that I want to see if that helps correct the problem. Additionally, today I am using a newer phone. The phone that I used in my previous video was an old MyPhone Smart with 4.2 Jellybean. This is a newer phone. That's not a great phone though. It's an old or a new Tom phone, but it has 5.1 Lollipop Android on it. So I want to see if that corrects the issue. So we've changed two variables. Today we have data reception, and also we got a newer version of Android, and we're going to see if that helps the problem. Right now I have FPV signal. I am going to start recording the quadcopter or the video and see if we still maintain video signal after I record. And we seem to be recording, folks. Okay, we'll take to the air with an automatic takeoff. 1, 2. We still have video. Okay, we'll see if this maintains the video throughout the flight. Let's check the stability though first. Right now we have how many satellites? We have 20 satellites, so we're good there. We seem to be good stability wise. Let's give a little forward push, or a little bit of altitude there. Actually, let's come down a little lower. I want to fly a little lower. We're going to do low level flying over the desert, and give it a forward push. Go up a little bit higher though. Yeah, as you can see here, this area, I still got FPV reception. The area is mainly used for RVs. They come here and camp, and then take out their motorbikes and go across the desert in different directions. Okay, I guess that's about 100 meters. They didn't let me go any farther. Boy, I wish they'd fix that. We'll go 100 meters the other direction now. Coming toward me, going into the sun. It's flying very nicely, as before. But this time I'm getting data reception. Go 100 meters that way, and I'm going to walk around the desert here. So one of the two things fixed this. One is I'm using a newer version of Android instead of the Jellybean. I'm using the Lollipop 5.1 version, and it's either that or it's because I got data reception out here. Maybe data reception is necessary. So the next thing I'm going to do with my next flights is I'm going back up in the canyon where there's no data reception, but I'm going to be using this newer phone to record with. Let's go overhead again, and I want to point the camera down toward me. Pointing the camera downward. Okay, that's up, so that's down. Hello up there. Okay, let's set it up. See if we still got that 50-meter data restriction or altitude restriction. Probably do. Going up, 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 up. And right there, it stops itself. So yeah, we can't go any higher than 50 meters, so I'm raising the camera back up again. And I can see it. I can see I got, if you look there, that I do have FPV reception. Let's go at 50 meters out to 100 meters over this dry lake bed here. So yeah, everything seems to be working fine today with the newer phone. So keep that in mind, folks. If you're trying to use an older phone, it might not work with it. At least it didn't work with mine. This is the app that I'm using is the English translated version that was available on the MeUAV site. There is another English translated version that I tried, but my phone didn't like it. It said it had a virus. So be careful. There is another English one out there. But this is the one that was updated by Mark F, I believe is the name. So that's the one that I'm using. How much flight time do I got left? 82% power. Got tons of flight time on this. She's flying very well. It's just at that darn altitude restriction. I don't like it. Or 100-meter restriction on this quadcopter. Won't let you go any farther. You try and it just stops itself in the sky. I'm going to go over here and we'll see if we can fly over it. There's these old, they're not abandoned railroad tracks, but they're rarely used. There's a railroad here that brings ore, not ore, but what is it, salt from Trona, California, and other chemicals that are mined from a dry lake bed over there. Let's see if I can go over toward that. Actually, it doesn't want to go any farther forward. This might be a restricted area over here, since it's not letting me go into it. Yeah. You know, this has no fly zones, and I believe this is a restricted area over in that direction there. It lets me fly over here. This is interesting. Let's bring this in and show you this, folks. I forgot the name of the restricted area, but, you know, I do fly out in the desert near Edwards Air Force Base in China Lake. And it's not letting me fly any further that way. Let's show that again. Watch this. Mainly I got data connection, remember? I got data connection. And then it blops itself right here. So it knows that I'm not supposed to be flying over there. Okay, and it stops itself. Although I think it might be a little bit overly restrictive. I think I am allowed to fly up to 200 meters over here, or 200 feet. This is where the actual area starts. But it's not letting me go any further into it. So the no-fly zones work on this, folks. Although I think they're overly restrictive. I believe, like I said, it's 200 feet I'm allowed to fly up to, because it starts at 200 feet. So we'll go over this way again. This is very interesting. Again, I have data connection today, so it knows where the restricted areas are. Let's see if it stops itself. Look at that. So it knows that I'm right on the border of the restricted area right here. That's cool. I don't know if that's cool for some people, if you have restricted areas that you got to fly around, but this knows where they're at and won't let you go into them. Do it again. Let's see. And it's stopping itself right there. Dang it. I can't go any further into there. Okay, with that being the point, it might be also because of the railroad ties too. I don't know if it knows about railroads. Maybe you're not allowed to fly over railroads, but it stops itself. Let's try it again. Okay, it's going full speed. Stopping itself right there. So I guess the restricted area goes that way from here. Now we know where the borders of the restricted area are. But yeah, that works on this thing, unfortunately, or fortunately for some, unfortunately for others. You're not allowed to fly in no-fly zones. This will stop itself. Right there. If you got data connection It ain't gonna let you do it. Wow. That's another reason I came out here. I wanted to see if that was true. Another reason I got data connection, and I wanted to fly right here because I know this about this restricted area here. Although, like I said, I'm pretty sure you have to be above. It starts at 200 feet, but altitude, and then up to infinity. But this doesn't let you go into it. I'm giving it full forward pitch, folks. So fascinating. Let's watch. Let's see what the border of this restricted zone is. We'll fly around. Apparently, it goes that way. That is cool, or interesting. So the me zone is extra safe. For one thing, it won't let you go further than 100 meters for 5 hours. And another thing, it won't let you fly into no-fly zones. Like that. Which is, I guess, good. Yeah, it's a military no-fly zone over there is what it is. See on top of the mountain there are the antennas. But, you know, I was flying low level here, and I think you are allowed to fly up to, again, 200 feet. But this don't care. If it sees a restricted area, it stops you from flying into it. So we'll just fly it around here. Let's do low-level flying again. Let's demonstrate that camera one more time. I want you guys to see my t-shirt. Nice t-shirt, huh? My tie-dye. Okay, let's go back up to 50 meters. So everything's working fine today. I guess the issue being you want to use a newer phone with a newer version of Android, and or you must have a data connection. We'll confirm that tomorrow or the next day. I'm going to take this up into the canyon again where there's no data connection, and we'll test that out and see if that's true. Okay, I still got FPV signal. Let's see if I can go at 50 meters into that restricted area, or if it stops itself again. It stops itself again. Oh well, you can't go at 50 meters high. It'll blop itself. So you ain't going in there. Or then again, you know what it might be, folks? It might be restricting itself from 50 meters from its takeoff position, or 100 meters from its takeoff position. I might be wrong there. Just occurred to me. You know, it has a 100-meter circle around its takeoff position. That's what that is. I was wrong. That's exactly what that is. Because I can't see this mapping out all the restricted areas in that detail. And again, like I said, I should be able to fly to 200 feet here, you know, legally. And yeah, that appears to be the issue, folks. It's 100 meters from its takeoff point, not from you. Okay, I've been walking around this dry lake bed here, and it's stopping itself at 100 meters from where I took off. There's my wife and dog over there. But that seems to be the point. How much flight time do I got left? I'm at 50% power, so I got another. I can fly just as long, but I'm not going to fly that long. My wife's getting hot out here in the desert, and so we'll be heading back here shortly. But I'm happy that this thing's working finally. Okay, so yeah, that was 100 meters from my takeoff position. That wasn't baloney about it, recognizing that restricted area over there. Fly over there, and it stops itself at 100 meters again from the takeoff point. Okay, we'll come down. Pointing back toward myself. And descending. Reducing throttle. Yeah, I'm starting to like this now. I hope all the issue was the phone. And if it's just the phone, this is going to be a lot of fun. Everything seems to be working fine. Let's try something. Let's bring her down. Since we got some remaining power, let's try the Waypoint. Waypoint flying, if there's power left to do such. Right about there. We'll hover you there. We are going to go into the menus. Come out of that button there. We're still recording, and we're going to go fly 2 point. Oh no, we can't. It won't let me. How about if I go like that? There's a little flag there. I guess that's the takeoff point. Let's see if we drag it over. Okay, I pressed the button that I thought would be, you know, the little squiggly line to let you use various waypoints or directions to fly to, but it's not letting me do anything. You know, there's nothing showing up in the menu here, so I don't know if it's been implemented yet or not. You know, the waypoint flying and the fly 2 point. But let's go back to the camera. So I'll check that out later, see if I can get that to work later. But right now it's flying well on this beautiful morning out here in the desert. Very, very, very stable with 19 satellites right now. I like this quadcopter. Okay, now that it's working, I like it a lot. Let's do an automatic landing and then we'll call it quits. I'm going to go over here, 100 meters out, until it stops itself, and then we'll do a return to home. Okay, we're about 100 meters there, turning it back toward me, and we will hit the return to home button now. Let's see it come home. It's climbing. It does a climb, and the idea being it's to avoid any trees or obstructions on the way back. So that's what that climb is about. It goes up to about 50 meters or so, I'm guessing. And then it starts its way home. So all in all, it's working now. Again, I can almost guarantee it's because I was using an old phone, an old Jellybean phone, using a Lollipop phone from Android. You know, an Android Lollipop 5.1 system seems to be required or better, I'm guessing. The reason I was using the old phone is because this app is not the official version and it wasn't available on Google Play. I didn't want to mess up my good phone. So I was using, again, the old, an old phone that I just happened to have. Just, you know, it was an old throwaway phone. So I apologize for that first video, because right now it seems to be working fine. So, and she's landed. How much video do we got? And hitting the, okay, 17 minutes of video. Actually, I think that should be more than enough. So, stopping the video, and video is recorded. And we are landed, and I'm turning off the return to home, and that should be it, folks. We're back. So, I'm going to turn off the quadcopter now. Quadcopter is off. So the second flight of the Me, I think we find the problem. I was using an old phone. You need to use a newer phone with newer version of Android. It doesn't like Lollipop, or was it? It doesn't like Jellybean 4.2, but it did like Lollipops 5.1. Hope you enjoyed this flight. This is Quadcopter 101, signing out. Lollipop, lollipop, ooh la la.